Hey guys, welcome to Fearless Cooking. Thanks for joining me today. Actually, I just heard a little beep. I guess that means I need to turn my phone off. Okay, sorry about that. Welcome to Fearless Cooking. Today we're going to cook butter poached shrimp. I mean, just saying that sounds delicious. All right, so we're gonna have butter poached shrimp. We're gonna do roasted asparagus, and we're gonna do roasted cauliflower rice. And you know, I use cauliflower rice with Fearless Cooking a lot. And actually, before I like wax poetic about cauliflower rice, preheat your oven to 400 degrees. I've gotten a little bit of a head start because I want to get this thing in the oven so that I can at least pull it out by the end of the show to show you guys what it looks like. But go ahead and get your oven preheated to 400 degrees. And I was curious. I knew that cauliflower rice was pretty low carb. So I looked on the package. There's only 2 net grams of carbs in a whole cup of cauliflower rice. So for all practical purposes, I mean, it's not 0 carb, but it's damn close to it. So anyway, we're going to be using cauliflower rice. The way that I get this like in a usable form is I just grab a towel and I just put the rice in there like this, and then I use like a meat tenderizer and use the flat side of it and just smack it a little bit. The reason I put the towel on is because I did it once and it blew the edge out and blew cauliflower rice everywhere, so I decided, this is a little simpler. So let's see, I think that's pretty close.
Just helps to loosen everything up so that when you go to cook it, it's...
Yeah, and then I'll use my hand to get rid of some of the clumps too, but it just makes it simpler this way. So, you know, I always am harping on the whole mise en place thing, which is get everything ready before you get started. But with this, I'm kind of violating that a little because I want to get this in, but I still have everything I'm going to use out here, right? With the exception of the butter, and I can't make, you know, it's kind of a no-brainer that I'm going to remember pull the butter out of the fridge because that's what I'm going to cook my shrimp in. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this going. I want to give the cauliflower rice just a few minutes head start before I put the asparagus in. So I'll get the cauliflower rice dressed. You know, I'll get it salted. I'm going to use the old standard organic no salt seasoning from Kirkland with just a little bit of salt. We'll get this going. We'll put hit it with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Then I'll work on the asparagus, and that's going to be a real quick process. So I'm just going to dump this out on the sheet tray, and then, you know, I managed to like get a little bit of cauliflower rice on the floor, even though I had the towel on there.
That can be vacuumed.
Yeah, you know, it's like cooking is just a messy process. All right, so now
what did you do with it? You put it all in.
I put it in a pile because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of hit it just a little bit with the olive oil. I'm not going to put a massive amount on. Yeah, that's probably, I don't know, that's probably a couple of tablespoons maybe. Then I'm just going to put this no salt seasoning on there. And I just kind of hit it, and then I'm going to mix all this up with my hands. And once I get it spread out, then I'll put some salt on there. So I just kind of rub it around with my hands. I just want to make sure that I've got, and like there was a big clump, so I just press that down. Because the problem is, you know, if you've got big wads of frozen cauliflower, it's not going to get done at the same rate that everything else is. So I just want to get it like spread out on the sheet tray. Damn, that's cold.
And mixed in just really well.
Yeah, and that way, you know, it's like, and it's not like uniformly. There's some spots that have more olive oil on them than others. It's going to be fine. This is definitely not an exact science. I'm not making a souffle here, so. Which I guess one of these days I'll have to try that. I've never made a souffle, so we may try that on one of the Fearless Cooking episodes.
Paleo souffle.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. All right, so now I'm going to hit it with a little salt, and I'm just going to kind of hold it up high so it covers most of it. Okay, and I didn't say it, so I'm not going to like add it since I didn't have it on our list of ingredients. But you could add tomatoes with this. You could
like
cut
small cherry tomatoes?
Yeah, like cherry tomatoes, or you could even put slices, or you could put sun-dried tomatoes.
Ooh.
The other thing you could do with it is, and I did this last night with some okra, is cut shallots up real thin and put those in, and that would also be delicious. But for today's, version, we're just going to go a straight cauliflower rice with the seasoning. So I'm going to put this in the oven.
No matter the top or bottom rack?
No, I'm not worried about which one. Okay. Now then, normally with asparagus, I like snap it, but this stuff is super thin. So what I'm going to do with it is I'm just going to take my knife and I'm going to kind of try and get all the stems close together, and I'm just going to take kind of this bottom little bit off. All right, and then.
Rather than trying to snap individual ones to see where
because they're so small.
Did you want me to set a timer for the cauliflower rice?
Not yet. We'll
wait
do
till
it now. Yeah, once I get all this in there. And I've got a bowl over here, and I'm going to put this in.
This being
the asparagus, thank you. And then I'm going to hit this with a glug of extra virgin olive oil.
A glug.
Yep, that's a scientific measure.
For about a tablespoon, probably.
Yeah, I guess, it's just a glug's worth. And then I'm going to just mix it up with my hands. And then once I get it on the sheet, then I'll also salt it. And, as far as oil, you could use, I use extra virgin olive oil with this. You could also use avocado oil. But, and the reason I keep repeating myself is because somebody may be watching this that hasn't seen any other episodes. Whatever you do not use seed oils. So by that I mean corn oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil. Okay, those things are basically toxic to you. So olive oil or avocado oil.
Coconut oils.
Coconut oil would be good. The problem with it is that since, as it's getting colder, you would have to heat it up before you could put it on. But yeah, it's still a good one to cook with. All right, here we go. So now I've got the sheet tray. I'm going to put the asparagus on here. And you could, put parchment paper down. It's just I didn't on the other, so I'm not going to worry about it on this. I want to get this real good and spread out. Because if they're on top of each other, this is the asparagus I'm talking about. If they're on top of each other, instead of roasting, it's almost like in the beginning they're steaming. And we don't want to do that. Okay. And part of what we're doing with roasting is that we're caramelizing these, which means that we are caramelizing the sugars that are in there. So it just makes for a more complex taste. It adds kind of extra flavor compounds. Okay, that's kind of spread out. Now I'm going to hit that with some salt and pepper. Once again, kind of hold it up high so I don't get it super concentrated. And then I've got pepper here. We'll just, and then we'll hit both this and the shrimp with some lemon juice and some lemon zest. So now I'm going to put this in the oven.
Okay, after you've cooked it,
Yeah, I'm going to cook it first.
You want me to set the timer?
Yeah, go ahead and set the timer for like 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'll give everybody a second to catch up, but I'm going to add basically 2 tablespoons of water to this. I'm not going to measure it. I'm going to eyeball it. This recipe comes out of Michael Ruhlman's Ruhlman's 20, And if you're not familiar with him, he's a great author. He's got good cookbooks, but he also has a couple of books. I think one of them, the first one was like Making of a Chef, and he went to the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, and went through the early stages of training and then wrote about it. And it's a real intriguing read. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to have to light that first, but I'm also going to pull the butter out. And today, let's see, we'll use, this is one that we've used before. This is, what's it, Meyenberg goat milk butter. It's 8 ounces. And we'll probably use
any regular
yeah,
butter.
any kind of butter. I like goat's milk butter, but like any kind of butter. If you're going to use cow's milk, Kerrygold is a great one because they make it with milk from grass-fed cows. So anyway, I've got.
It's pretty easy to find.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much in pretty much every grocery. Well, I say every grocery store. I'm sure there's some that don't have it, but a huge number of them do. I mean, like in Austin, H-E-B, Randall's, all of those guys carry it. Central Market, Whole Foods. All right, just getting that where it's accessible. All right, so now then.
How much butter will people be using?
So the Ruma's recipe calls for a cup. Okay, well, I didn't want to like melt everything down and measure it out. So, you know, what I'm going to do is probably use about 6 ounces of this 8 ounce. So I'm going to use about 2/3 of it.
Okay.
But what we just want is we want enough butter in the bottom of this skillet that we can, and we're not going to boil it. We're going to keep it under a boil. So we're going to poach it. And we'll talk more about that technique here in just a minute.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is get this new fancy lighter I have working and get that thing lit. All right, now then, I'm going to put this on here, and I want to get it just a little bit warm. I'm going to cut this thing down pretty low because I'm going to use a pretty low heat. So when you poach, you're not boiling something, okay? And it's a real gentle cooking method. And when you think about it, like early on in Fearless Cooking, we poached salmon in coconut milk. Okay, well, salmon's a really tender fish, right? With shrimp, it's super delicate, right? I mean, you can cook it in just a matter of minutes. So you don't want to hammer it with something. Mm-hmm. The thing that I like about this is that the sauce is just incredible. It goes great with the cauliflower rice and with the asparagus. I mean, this is an indulgent meal, but it is delicious. So I'm just kind of feeling how hot this is getting, because we're going to kind of keep everything like under 180, okay? Because we don't want to simmer it. We don't want bubbles to start forming, okay? So it's getting warmer.
And you already have the shrimp ready?
Yeah, I went ahead and deveined them, and I had said in the prep notes to go ahead and remove the shell and devein them. I use this thing. This is called, what is it? It's called the Toadfish, I think it's Toadfish Frogmore cleaner. And this, if you look on the essential stuff on abalanceyou.com, I've got a link to it. But it's a great way to clean shrimp, because I hate to devein shrimp. I mean, you can use a paring knife to do it. I was doing it kind of mindlessly once and almost stuck it in my hand. So I was like, you know, this is a lot simpler method. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding some. I can see
some steam coming
yeah,
up.
so I'm going to go ahead and turn this down a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, and now I'm going to start adding. And once you start putting the butter in, you need to kind of keep like you're going to keep stirring it. Okay. So
just put in a little bit at a time.
Yeah, we're not going to put it all in. We're just going to put this in. We're going to get this melted. And this is that same thing. We're making an emulsion. We're going to get this to where that the fats and the liquids play together. because butter is itself an emulsion.
But how much did you put in right then? Probably a couple tablespoons?
Yeah, yeah.
So just a little bit at a time.
Yeah, just a little bit at a time. And then, well, that's one. I'm going to grab another one, another chunk. Yeah, it won't take long. Yeah, poaching is. I'm going to try a like poaching chicken breasts and see what that's like. I'll be the guinea pig on a few of these to see if there's any that I like well enough for us to do on this. But you know, it's like part of what we're going to be covering over the next few months is like different cooking techniques, and start trying to figure out, okay, based on what we know about a protein or about a particular vegetable, what are some of the kind of available options.
It's interesting when you think about poaching chicken, because I don't exactly experience that as a delicate protein.
Well,
the way you describe fish and.
Well, but you think about a chicken breast though. There is almost no fat in it, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's also, there's no connective tissue in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's nothing in it that you have to break down. Okay, all you're trying to do is to get it cooked. And the thing this is good for is something that you don't want to overcook.
Okay, don't want to overcook and dry out. So poaching keeps a lot of sort of moisture in the.
Yep. Yeah, and it also never gets it hot enough, okay, to really bang it hard. All right. That's another scientific term. Okay, one more little chunk. So I've used, about 2/3 of this, and I'm gonna just get this going, and then I'm gonna check just to see, okay, what's the temp on this?
And you want to keep it under 180 degrees.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like 140, and it's rising. 142.
What temperature does it need to be at least?
Yeah, they say Reuben talks about 170, but let me see. I keep pulling it out of there, so try this. This is that rub your, what is it? Rub your stomach and pat your head. I probably wouldn't have done very good at that. Okay, we're at 170. No, we're not. We're at 130. 140. 141.
So they need to.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to let it go just a little bit longer, but not much.
You don't turn the heat up?
I don't want to, because it's too easy to like kind of bust through where I want to get. Let's see.
So you recommend that anybody cooking it should also be checking their temperature on
Yeah,
that.
but it's not everybody. Now, I think it's like an essential part of every kind of kitchen setup. But if you don't have an instant read thermometer, obviously you're not going to be able to do this.
Yeah.
There is a link in the essential stuff on abalanceyou.com where that you can find it. This is one thing that I don't recommend getting off of Amazon, because who are these guys? It's ThermalWorks, or the people that I've used, and like they are kind of the standard around like most like restaurants and chefs. And if you buy them on Amazon, it's either like bootlegged, or in other words, Amazon is not their normal distribution channel. And they say on their site, hey, don't go that route. So I have an affiliate link on abalanceyou.com. I'm going to add, so I'm going to add affiliate links. I'm putting the shrimp in here now because we're at about 150. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. And what I'm doing is just spreading the shrimp out so that they're not like on top of each other. Yeah.
But how long will this probably take?
It won't take long, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes
wow.
max.
Okay.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
a quick meal.
it's a super,
nice.
so I have a little bit of shrimp vein on me that I don't need to add to the pan.
Yeah, it's just a quick,
sauteed poo. Yeah.
get home from work meal.
Absolutely, you know, and it's the thing about shrimp is, you know, it's a it's a great meal. Most people like shrimp unless you're allergic to it, and it's something that cooks really fast. So I'm just going to let these sit here for a minute, and then we'll turn them over. What we're going to be looking for is like a pink. And once they're cooked, then I'm going to hit them with some salt and lemon zest and just a little bit of lemon juice. I don't salt them ahead of time just because I don't want to change the way that they cook. Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to play with them some more, but with this is the way I did them the first time and they came out great. So I was like, okay, it wasn't broken. It doesn't need to be fixed. So, all right, I'm going to throw this in the fridge. All right.
So is it going to be just like a couple minutes on each side?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 minutes on each side.
Okay. So you'll notice that as they start to get pink.
You can see them now, like you're starting to see some color, like it's starting to kind of turn white. Mm-hmm. Let's see what this side looks like. Not quite yet. It needs a little bit more. Because let's see the temperature. See, because the temp would have dropped some probably whenever I put the shrimp in. Yeah, we're at like 100 and not quite even 130 yet. Well, 131, 135. Yeah, so this would probably have cooked quicker had I jacked the temp up.
Okay.
But, you know, the thing is, this takes so little time. It's not like you need to like rush it along.
Right.
Because, you know, I almost think that you could cook shrimp under the hot water that comes out of your faucet. I haven't tried it, but I'm sure that, you know, if you were patient enough.
Of that experience.
Yeah. Well, you know, though, there was a thing, Tim Ferriss did a deal about sous videing some fish in like from the hot water that came out at a hotel. And I got to read how he did it. But it's like, yeah, with a lot of proteins that are pretty delicate, it doesn't take a real high temperature. Let's see where we are. 141, 50. Yeah, we're getting up close to the 170. Well, we will, I think. Let's see. Yeah, still about 150. All right, let's see what this looks like. This side. Yeah. All right. So we're going to go ahead and turn it over.
Turn it all over?
Yeah.
One? Okay.
And you can see, like that one is already starting to turn pink.
Yeah. When they go from being translucent to opaque.
And you know, I bought these at Central Market, you know, and I know they're super fresh. Or I say they are. I feel comfortable that they are, but I'm not. You know, I've had raw shrimp before with sushi. I don't know that I would want to eat the ones from Central Market raw just because, you know, there's nothing there that says, hey, these are sushi grade. But, you know, I certainly don't want, if you get shrimp too done, they get rubbery. So just trying to get these to that Goldilocks level, you know, just right.
What would you say to people who worry that this meal is so high in fat and too much butter and?
That's a great question, because it was funny when I was buying the shrimp at Central Market. The fishmonger there was like, "So what are you going to do with it?" I said, "I'm going to do butter poached shrimp." And he goes, "Oh man, that sounds great." He goes, "Wow, that sure is a lot of butter. It's real fatty." And I told him, I said, I don't really worry about the fat level, and I'm not cavalier about it. It's just that, number one, my carb intake is super low. And so it's like, that's kind of where you start to get into the problem area, is if you're having if you have a real high carb diet and lots of fat, then that sets you up for a bunch of health maladies. Okay. If you're making sure that the fat that you use is high quality fat, like, grass-fed butters, or just a good quality butter, or olive oil, or avocado oil, or like the meat that's the fat that's in meat that's from grass-fed animals, you're really like taking a lot of the worry out of your dietary choices. And there's there are like what is it? It's CLA, conjugated, what is it? Linoleic acid, I think it is. That's in like grass-fed butter, which is something that is a real health benefit.
Yeah. Wait, so we've got 3 minutes, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Too. There's 3 minutes on the.
Perfect. All right. So I can see we still have a few spots that we need a little extra color on.
So you want them pretty much pink all the way through?
Yeah. I don't, like, there was one there that wasn't quite so, and like I said, I think we're a little under on our temp. I made this. What you don't want to do is get the heat up so high that the butter separates.
So to be really, really careful.
Yeah. But I think we're coming along here. We're going to be done in just a couple of minutes.
You can smell the vegetables cooking as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like, and the thing that we made this meal the other day, and the shrimp and the butter and the cauliflower rice and the asparagus just all play really nice together.
Really, really fabulous combination. Restaurant sort of.
Mm-hmm. Nice
restaurant kind of meal.
Yeah, and when you make it yourself, it's like what you pay is just a fraction of what you would, if you were buying it at a restaurant.
And you know exactly what all the ingredients.
Yes, that's the big one. Let's see what we got. Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting close. We're not quite there yet. So we would, like I said, we would if I had bounced it all the way up to the 170 in the beginning. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to be right there. Where it's 161 right now. 163.
I would imagine cooking it this way too keeps the shrimp from being rubbery.
Oh, totally. Yeah. It's it basically lets you get shrimp to its kind of ideal doneness.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we're gonna see where we are here. I think we're gonna be pretty close on this one. I see another little. Let's see. Let's pull this one out. That's a pretty good size one. I'm just gonna cut it in half and see what we look like. Oh yeah, yep. This one's done all the way through, and that's so good. Oh, shrimp is probably one of my favorite seafoods, and as a kid, like the main way I had it was fried. I like it fried, but I like it pretty much anyway. All right.
Okay, the timer's just getting ready to go off. Do you want me to?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There you go.
And then I'm going to let this just hang out here for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Now then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it with a little bit of lemon zest.
Just brightens the dish a bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then I'm going to hit it with some salt.
And what about lemon juice?
I put a little bit in there. Yeah.
You will put some? Okay.
Yeah, what I want to do is put a little bit on the, put some of this zest on the asparagus, and then I'll cut the lemon and put some juice on both of them.
How much do you think you're putting on? Maybe about
a half of a lemon's worth.
Okay.
Yeah, because this stuff is like a little bit of it kind of goes a long way. But you want it. I like it on stuff just to kind of add some brightness to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I've got some cilantro. I think that'll be a great way to garnish the plate. And then let's see what we're looking like here. Yeah, that's looking, it's coming along. It's going to take, I'm going to let it go just a couple minutes longer. What I'm going to do,
Set the timer.
yeah, I'm just going to move this stuff up. Then I'm going to put that sheet tray with the asparagus on it. Yeah.
Does it look ready?
Yeah.
It smells ready.
Yeah, they are.
So the lemon juice you said is going to go on the.
I'm going to put a little bit in with the shrimp.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then I also like added, I just used a lime wedge, just like little bitty bits of lime juice in with the shrimp whenever we fixed them the other day. And I liked that addition to it.
Just right before you serve it?
Yeah. And you know, I have said this on here before, but I think it bears repeating. And that is, most home cooks don't pay attention to acid, and in a lot of times when a dish is finished, they're not paying real attention to the salt. And I think if you will taste it and go, all right, are all the flavors coming through, then you can add just a little bit of salt to it, and then at almost every time just a touch of acid really brightens the flavors up. And if you're going, what does he mean by brighten? Give it a try, and now all of a sudden you go, oh yeah, that's what brightening tastes like.
Did you put salt on the shrimp yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I'm going to do that. And this. All right, so now then that's on there. Now this is going to be hot. Yeah. Let's use this. I'm just going to move this over here. And I will cut this in half. Actually, I shouldn't have cut it that way, but that's all right.
So now you are squeezing the lemon juice.
Yep.
Of a whole lemon, or are you going to
No, I'm just going to put this, and I'm not even going to do it. I just want to put just a little bit on there.
Probably like that's probably about a
teaspoon, maybe.
Teaspoon.
I mean, it's like I don't want to like be heavy-handed with this at all.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to hit it with some salt, and then I'm going to hit it with just. Okay. Now then, we'll bring the. This has already been
asparagus
salted.
back over.
Yeah, so I've already salted that. So put that back in there. Now then, we'll put a little bit of lemon juice on it.
On the asparagus.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the lemon peeler out there, but when you cut it the way I did, it makes it hard to fit it in the peeler. So let's see what we've got from a. Remove this.
You also have your hot pad there. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think we're good here. I mean, we could go longer in there, but you can see it's starting to get a little bit darker around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just plate this up on plate real quick. All right, so I'll grab gosh, look at this. Oh yeah. And then
put the shrimp on top of the
Yeah.
cauliflower rice.
Uh-huh.
That's what you're doing here.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna put just a little bit of that butter sauce.
Mm.
All right.
Put that on top.
Now then a little bit of asparagus. All right. And then let's hit it with a little bit of garnish. Move this. Kind of a wreck behind me, but it's wonderful in front of me.
So you are now.
I'm sorry. I'm
Just
mincing.
here?
Yeah, I'm mincing just a little bit of cilantro.
Okay.
I'm just gonna put it here.
That'll also give it some nice little brightness.
Little brightness. Yeah. And then, all right. Let's see.
Even when it's so heavy with the butter, that's a nice.
And also by using that, I had a little more water in this time than I did last time, and that really thins that out, so it's not quite as thick. But I think this is going to be delicious. It looks wonderful. So guys, enjoy your meal. I look forward to cooking with you guys soon. In fact, real quick, here's just I was putting together kind of a list of what I want us to do over the next few months. And this isn't like etched in stone, it's just written in my notebook. But what I've got right now is sauteed chicken breast with tarragon butter sauce. That's gonna, and then we'll do like roasted veggies on a tray. That's what we're doing next week.
So sauteed chicken breast.
Sauteed chicken breast.
Not poached?
No,
Okay.
not poached. We'll do poached at another time.
Okay.
What I'm trying to do is take us through some different cooking techniques.
Got it.
Okay. So today was poaching. All right. Next week will be saute, and we'll kind of mix these throughout. The week after that, we're going to do sauteed scallops with asparagus and cauliflower rice. Then I've got roasted chicken with a lemon pan sauce and green beans and potatoes. This is one that I made a while back, and we're going to roast the chicken in a cast iron skillet, and we'll turn the oven off partway through and kind of let it coast to the finish. But it is a wonderful way to fix a whole chicken. We're going to do braised, probably do what part of the we're going to use chuck roast. Okay, so we'll do braised chuck roast. Then we're going to do sheet tray salmon with veggies. We're going to do some version of a skirt steak. Then I think we're going to make the chili that I made before. That is a multiple dried chilies. It's a absolutely incredible chili recipe. Probably do an instant pot curry after that, and then we're going to do something with ground beef. And that's got us out through 9 weeks. I've got quite a few more in here, but I won't belabor it too much at this point. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to try to make sure that we do some kind of sauce, if not every week, at least every other week. I printed off some ones that I got. Rob Wolf and Nikki Valente did a keto masterclass, and these were some sauces, I guess, that Nikki does quite a bit. And what I like about them is that they're so fast to prepare. So if you have an immersion blender, like, you can make these things in just a matter of minutes. And one of the things that they introduced me to was using artichoke bottoms, and also palm. What is that? It's
Hearts of palm.
hearts of palm. Thank you. And you use that to kind of add like a thickness to the sauce. So like the sauce that I made last night, it had like 3 or 4 artichoke quarters in it that were marinated. Then I added some olive oil to it, only about 1/4 of a cup. And then I used some rosemary, fresh rosemary, and some fresh Italian parsley, and then some lemon juice and salt. And then I added some just plain yogurt to it to kind of add some extra volume to it. And it was dynamite. And it, that whole thing took me, 5 minutes to do.
And the nice thing about having those sauces is you can just like kind of cook your protein and vegetables, and then those you mix and match.
Absolutely. And it keeps you from eating, kind of the same tasting meal over and over again. So anyway, that's kind of on the horizon. So, and also just a heads up, we're going to be changing the format from webinar to meeting. And what that means is that, we'll be able to, interact more during these sessions. So I'll get that information out to you. But hey, it was great cooking with you guys today. I look forward to cooking with you again like next week. Thanks a lot. Y'all take care.